Hi, folks. Welcome to another Rockposer Chats. And joining me is a gentleman from, well, I've got to admit, one of my favourite bands, and that is none other than Mr. Mark Kendall from Great White. Welcome to Rockposer Chats.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Awesome.
Well, I thought it'd be a good time to have you on. It must be 5 years since I spoke to Michael when Full Circle was about to come out. Um,
Uh-huh.
and obviously, a lot's changed in the band since then. Last had the
Yeah.
chance to see you guys, was it 2 years ago now on Mork? So um, I thought have a catch up, see what the plans are for the future with the band,
Yeah.
etc., etc. I guess we'll better kick off with obviously you've got a new vocalist, well known to a lot of people, Andrew Freeman. I guess people will know him from Last in Line, obviously now Great White as well. How's that
Yeah.
working?
It's working great. He's got a lot of grit, a lot of power, a lot of range. He has a lot of different sides to his voice. I'm writing music with him. Really looking forward to hearing his vocal with my guitar. I haven't heard a new song with him yet.
Right.
So I can only judge by hearing the way he does ballad, the way he does a heavy rock song. Um, we've even brought stuff back from the first album because when we first rehearsed with him in Las Vegas, he goes, "Hey man, you guys still do Stick It?" And we're like, "How do you know about Stick It?" Because he's a couple years younger than us. He goes, "Oh man, when I was 13, me and my friend used to get these songs from Metal Shop, and that song was always in the loop, you know." So we go, "Okay, let's do Stick It." So we launch in, do Stick It. He sings it perfect, you know. So it's fun that he can handle the range of any of our songs in our catalog, you know. And he's a really good guy, He's not pretentious. He's just straightforward, no weird ego, head trips or anything. And he's just a team player, a real great, really good singer, man. I mean, yeah, so it's going well.
I guess it's going to be, as you said, a bit of a different direction, obviously, from his singing style, because obviously, uh, moving on from the first album, obviously, there's a more bluesy sound to the band.
Yeah,
It'll be intriguing to hear that material now with that, I say, obviously, Andrew's grittier approach to stuff.
yeah. I just write the way I write. I think no matter what I come up with, he's gonna deliver on it. The stuff that I've come up with recently is a little bit more driving and riffy, you know, some riff orientated things. I'm trying to keep it interesting. It's kind of challenging, to not repeat yourself, but also make it tasty.
Sure.
I mean, I want to hear it back. I want to, like, I just sent him something. He's going, "Dude, that's like Thin Lizzy meets UFO. I love it." So, I mean, it's hard to get away from myself and influences and stuff like that. But I think I have some fresh ideas. They sound pretty fresh. So yeah, we're not going to all of a sudden become a death metal band or something. I
Thank
I
goodness.
just write the way I do. It was a little bit different when we were younger and we did that first album. We were trying to be like the Scorpions and Judas Priest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just had that almost like teenage mentality. We go, those bands are flying under the radar, which they were at that time in 1982 or whatever. They didn't, they weren't commercial bands. They were great bands, but not, so we go, let's be as heavy as possible because even though it didn't come out that way, that's our version of being heavy. But we were a trio, we guitar, bass, drums, and a singer. No keyboards, no rhythm guitar, nothing, so it's a little bit different when you have that setup. So yeah, it was more of a heavy approach. And then every time when we were recording the first album, in between the takes, I'd be playing "I'm Going Home" by Alvin Lee, or I'd be playing more blues-based things, and it caught the attention of our manager and even an engineer that was in the studio. It got their heads to turn. They're going, what's that? Why aren't you playing that? You know what I mean? So as time went on, he kind of freed me up to play whatever I wanted.
Gotcha.
Which my influences started to come out, because I grew up listening to Johnny Winter, Alvin Lee, Billy Gibbons, Hendrix, Cream, all that. So, but we were like trying to be something, that we weren't really. So it was, and it's really, the funny thing to me is when we became honest with ourselves and just wrote whatever we wanted to, but, not trying to be like anything, just write songs. More bluesier approach came out.
Gotcha. Do you pinch yourself the fact that, it's over 40 years since the band started and you're still doing what you do?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm doing an interview with you, because when we first started going over to England, it was very tough. I mean, we're used to people just cheering no matter what we did. When we went there, it was a tough crowd. And, but I kind of liked that. It challenged us. It's like, okay, you're not going to accept us right away. You want us to prove ourselves. So we're going to keep coming back here, until you say it's good. And that's what we did. We just kept going back over there and, playing clubs, and, even brought some recording gear down, to record shows. And finally they said, you know what, these Yanks aren't that bad. Let's clap at least. I remember we opened for Whitesnake at Wembley Arena, and it was dead silent after the first song. And Jack Russell, he said to the crowd, he goes, "Hey man, you might as well get into it, because we're going to finish our set."
Well, it's got to say, I mean, the first time I saw you guys was an incredibly memorable gig, actually, which was at the Marquee Club in December '87, and it was rammed, and I was absolutely crushed against the stage. You actually were dripping on me because it was that hot in there. And the ceiling used to sweat. I mean, incredible venue. But I mean, that was, I say, what a way to see you guys live for the first time. That was just an incredible gig.
And a legendary venue.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of massive names have got their starts there. So the history in that club, it was so great just to be a part of it. Even if everybody hated us, we could at least say we played there. But it was it was a great experience, because to not just be accepted, just go, oh yeah, I'm kind of glad that the crowd was a little hard on us when we first came there, because it made us play that much harder and put more effort into our performances, and play hard and try to impress people as opposed to entertaining them. You know what I mean? And there, to me, that is a different level to try to reach, to impress someone, or are you just going to be entertaining? And then if you fail, at least you entertained them, maybe.
Have you got any plans to come back to the UK anytime soon? Obviously, last time was a few years ago now.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have you back over here.
We would absolutely love it. I would love it. If we could even break even, I would do it. It's so difficult. I don't know, man. I want to come over there. If we could get it set up to where we could play, some clubs, maybe a couple mid-sized venues, and throw in 2 festivals, to where we could make it work financially.
Sure.
instead of, you know, going over there and playing for $1.98 and we can't pay for our plane flights, you know. But you know, I love the fans over there. That's the thing about the fans in Europe in general, in the UK, is they don't leave you because some other kind of music is swimming by. It's like, you know, the Scorpions still go to Japan and play Budokan. You know, the fans aren't leaving them because there's some new music. You know, here they might. Okay. You know, in my country, I mean, we have a lot of loyal fans, and I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about just the general public, just like the way Nirvana just took over in the 90s, and that boom, you know. And I was telling this journalist before, it's like country, that can never happen. You know, never can some kind of music swim by and distract you from country music if you're a country fan. They just always pack arenas, you know. They do great always. They always sell tons of records, you know. So they have no worries. But yeah. So would love to go over there, man. You know.
Well, it'll save me. I keep having to come over to Mork to see you guys play.
I know, man.
But it's great you're back on the boat next year. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
It's such good. Mork is such good fun. It really is. I mean, we only ever set out to do one, and this will be our fourth, I think it is. I'm losing track.
I'll look forward to seeing you on that. You know, I think we're going to do it too. The thing I like about it is the fans that have been with us for so many years. You know, we don't hide from anyone. We might be out, you know, watching Saxon play on the boat while they're playing. Like, yeah. You know, we're not hiding backstage. It's a different format. You can go out, mingle with the fans, hang out, be just like anybody, you know. And that's what I like about it, because the fans have a lot of stories to tell. You know, yeah. I know I'm a fan myself, and you can play about any song from, you know, the 70s and I could tell you exactly what I was doing and what my age was, and just about everything. So I really dig to hear the stories, you know, where they were when this certain song came out, or, you know, it created a memory,
exactly.
You know, in their life. To me, to be a part of that is so cool, and I like to be right up and personal with that person, to hear it directly from them, because to me it's just fascinating.
One memory that does stick in my mind from Mork back in 2018 was Noah on stage with his guitar with you. That was one of the greatest and sweetest things I've seen. That was fantastic. I tell you, is he still playing the guitar?
He's actually playing drums now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can see the drum set over here.
All right.
Yeah, we jam together, and you know, he's playing the songs, and I think with the guitar, he's a little impatient. You know, he wants to be Angus Young yesterday. You know, yeah. But it just don't work like that. But when he plays drums, he's playing the song, and he gets that instant, you know, from playing, he can hear it back instantly, and he's playing grooves with the kick drum right, and you know, and he's hooked on it. You know, he just loves, and I think he likes beating on things or something. You know, so but he's starting to get his way around the neck a little bit. You know, I just, you know, he's 9 years old. I started playing when I was 9, but it took me a year, you know, to even be able to play 4 songs.
Well, that's a lot more than I can do, because I have zero musical ability. If I wish, I always admire people, and then then they really annoy me when I see musicians who not only sing but play guitar, drums, keyboards, and do everything. You just think that
Yeah.
life's not fair. It really isn't sometimes.
And then you have to deal with somebody that's so great on their instrument, you're just wondering what their childhood was like. Like, I don't think that guy played like little league baseball, or he must have just hovered in his room and just played the guitar every moment, because nobody can be that good and do it like part-time on the weekends. You
No.
know what I mean? And so, that's what I mean. There's those guys, and it's usually people that worked a little harder than you did, you know. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's
You were saying at the beginning about writing material and stuff. Does that mean that we can look forward to a new album sometime in the future?
man, that's what I'm shooting for. Whether anybody buys it or not. I mean, I was telling this guy the other day, and I really mean this. My entire career, I never thought about selling a bunch of records. I just wanted to know what people think of it.
Right.
Like, I want feedback so bad. Is this any good? What do you think? What song do you like? Please give me feedback. I want to hear it, especially when we're done recording the record. You got to wait about 3 or 4 months before you find out if you're good or bad, you're good or not. And so I have friends that I go to and I go, please tell me, be honest. What do you think? And that's kind of my thing with new music. I want to put it out there and just, for the fans, whether it sells 20 copies or whatever, I don't care. Just put it on the internet and see what people have to say, because that means as much to me as anything.
Okay.
Is for people to go, hey, that's pretty good, man. Like, that still holds up. Like, I could imagine that song right there being back in the days of Rock Me and whatever, so that's important to me, because being an oldies band, I'm just, it's nothing that, I mean, obviously, when you get really old and you're still playing music, and but if back in the 70s was your heyday or whatever, I guess you could be considered an oldies band. But if you're still producing music that's viable, and people are saying, man, that song is like tearing my face off, it's so badass. I mean, that is some driving stuff.
Sure.
And whoa, what a song. It's so catchy, Well, when did that come out? Like in 1994? No, last week, and I want to be part of that.
Right.
Because that's what drives me and keeps me motivated, is to constantly write songs, come up with something that's better than anything I ever did. That's the goal. It don't have to happen, but that's my goal.
Do you look back at stuff that you've recorded and think, I wish I'd done that slightly differently, or maybe I should revisit it?
Yeah. There's some things that maybe I was a little too simple. I think I've improved, that's we can always get better, and that's the thing I shoot for. If I hear something that's a little marginal, like a little too, I don't know, juvenile, or, maybe
Okay.
I could have done it a little better. That's what I just learned from that. I'm not upset that I did it that way, but I'm just going to do it better this time, So I think it's more of a learning curve than being upset about something I did from the past. I'm not going to do that again.
Is there one or two songs from your catalogue that you really see as your favourites, or does that change sort of over the years? You think, actually, no, I seem to prefer stuff I did in, say, 80 something rather than 90 something?
There's a few things. There's a few moments. as far as picking a certain song, that's kind of tough. I mean,
Yeah.
Even though Rock Me was like a big top 10 song, it does have a good memory behind it, because when you're kind of in your own painting and you got that tunnel vision and you're just playing, you really don't know what it's going to sound like. You're just playing the song. You're not really hearing it back. You're, putting on the vocals, the solo, and just doing all that. But when I heard it back, when it was mixed and everything, I thought we might have something,
Okay.
that was good and special, because it was 7 minutes long, but it didn't seem that long, because there's a lot of dynamics in the song. And actually, our manager did this little trick. He put on every song on that record that it was 3 minutes and 59 seconds. So when they sent that to the radio station, they thought it was 3:59.
Excellent.
By the time they figured out it was 7 minutes, the phones have already been lighting up like crazy. So they go, okay, well, let's take a break during this one, because I was a little nervous about that.
Right.
I'm thinking, we're not Phil Collins. We don't have a bunch of hits behind this tune. And we're throwing a 7-minute song to radio. I mean, MTV we couldn't do a 7-minute song. They wouldn't even let Madonna do a 7-minute song, maybe Michael Jackson. But we had to edit it down. We tried to edit it down to 5 minutes. We ended up not being able to do it and have it sound natural, as far as editing it.
Right.
We could replay it like that. So that's what we did. We re-recorded the song, a 5-minute version for the MTVs. So cut verses in half. They didn't cut out the solo for once. I couldn't believe it. Usually if you got to edit a song, there goes the solo.
I got to say, probably one of my favorite tracks from the band is a track I would love to hear you guys play live, and that is Congo Square. And I never tire of that song. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. It's always grabbed me, but it just stands out.
I can tell you a little story behind that. I was playing my guitar on my couch and accidentally tuned it to this open tuning. I was messing around with these Keith Richards open tunings.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure if I did it right, but all of a sudden I had this cool thing going on, and I started playing that riff that ended up being Congo Square. And I thought it might be special, so I didn't show the band the song. I went into the studio, 24 tracks, and laid down the entire idea. I played bass, drum machine, put a vocal idea on it, because a lot of times if I go to the band and go, check out this riff, they don't hear what's in between my ears. They have no idea what I'm thinking as far as the orchestration or, so I didn't want to risk getting this idea shot down like, oh, dude, that just sounds like AC/DC, So I almost finished the song, and that's the way I did that, because when I have what I think's a really good idea, I don't want a band member going, I don't know, it's okay if they do that, but I want them to hear the whole idea before they do that. You know what I mean? And then tell me why you don't like it. What's wrong with it? Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to have constructive criticism at the end of the day, not just. Oh no, that's no good. Well, thank goodness it made it onto the album intact.
Yeah. It made it on, and I think that extra effort helped it. But yeah, I agree with you. Give me constructive criticism. Now you can't ask that from a fan, because I was telling this guy the other day, I used to, when we're done recording, I always took all the music to this one friend of mine who could pick the best song on the record. He can pick the ones that are going to live and die, and don't ask me why.
Right.
He's totally tone deaf. He couldn't hold a note if you gave it to him in a box and said, here it is. He could no way deliver that note. So in other words, he can pick the song, but he can't tell you why he doesn't like it. He just says it's no good. You know, he's not willing to dissect it and tell me why it is. So you can't, you know, some people just have this gift that can pick songs, but they have no musical ability. And I'm thinking, what are you judging? The groove or it's just no good.
It's almost like listening in. It's almost like excuse me, listening in its purest form, isn't it? That there's no. It's unlike, say, a musician listening who's going to be picking up on certain things and going, oh, maybe this or maybe that, and you just know. I like it, and that's it.
That's it. Or it's no good. That's it. He'd just tell me straight up, that song will never live. It's no good. Don't put it out. And he's always right. That's why I always keep going back to this guy. I'm not going to, you know, Ted Pimpleman or some huge producer with these perfect ears. I'm going to a guy that has no musical ability whatsoever, and he's telling me if I'm going to live or die.
Sounds like me.
And I'm telling you, he never gets it wrong. But like I said, he can't tell you why. Now, like you were talking about, a musician could say, I don't know, man. You know, the chorus is a little too predictable. The arrangement, I don't know. I think you need to get to the chorus quicker, or, you know, they would have answers why it isn't working. I think lyrically it's kind of weak, bro. You know,
and you wish you never asked him. Yes,
but I don't even want to talk to that guy. I'm going to bring it to my guy, the guy that's always right.
Well, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks for taking the time to have a chat today. Looking forward to seeing you guys on Mort next year. It's going to be worth the wait. I hope to catch up with you then and have a drink or two. That'll be great.
I'll look forward to that. Seeing you on the cruise. We'll hang out or something.
Lovely. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, sir.